Ladylads and Gentlelads, let me begin this session of Smastian Says by extending a warm thank you for helping us reach the milestone of over 120 subs, as of recording this video anyway. It is nice to see that a community has gathered around this corner of the internet that we've carved out for ourselves, such as it is. It has been an interesting learning process and getting to this point, and we still have a lot to learn. That said, I hope you'll stick with us on this ride into the future. So again, thank you. Well, with all that sentimentality out of the way, well, most of it, let us turn to other matters. Now that the dust has largely settled following the MechWarrior 5 epic exclusivity fiasco, some more news has trickled down the pipe. Chiefly, yesterday, PGI has finally decided to send an email out to all pre-order backers that haven't yet gotten their refunds. That the game has gone epic exclusive. If casual Discord messages are anything to go by, this appears to have started another wave of MechWarrior 5 refunds, as many folk were not actively keeping tabs on the game via YouTube, Reddit, Discord, or other channels. What the message doesn't mention is the fact that those who redeemed any MechWarrior Online content are also eligible for refunds. Granted, this is mentioned in the FAQ, though one can argue that this is placed in such a way as to easily gloss over it. Most of the backers who are finding out about this now are likely still under the impression that they are ineligible for refund due to their MWO content redemption. All I'm trying to say is that they could be more transparent with this refund process, but who am I kidding? They're trying to use every subtle trick in the book now that the epic cat is out of the bag. On the subject of MechWarrior 5 refunds, we haven't gotten any strong evidence that PGI was attempting to withhold the full refund amounts from certain users. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that was a hoax. For the most part, people seem to be getting their refunds, though some are waiting longer than others due to the implication that the size of the queue is that large. As for myself, I got my refund several days ago, and I even got a personally worded thank you response from the specific support team member that processed my refund, merely for being courteous during the whole process. So, thanks to that guy. Or girl. Anyway, now that I had some extra cash burning a hole in my pocket, I decided to make a little thank you gift for the viewers that listen to this podcast.
Drop it.
One could accuse me of being frivolous, but I think it is undeniable that my money is being put to way better use now. Really, it's been a pleasure to see my character mascot come to life in this way. All are very faithful to the kind of aesthetic I had in mind, and I'm glad it worked out so well. So, in alphabetical order, I'll be giving each of the pen warriors behind these art pieces a bit of a shout-out. First on the list, Dorkseed Dell, also goes by Smugseed. I am a particular fan of the James Bond aesthetic going on in this work. The line work, the coloring, the textures, all of it is fantastic. Heck, I only wish I looked half as dapper half the time. Second up, Elf. The medieval style was an interesting choice on Elf's part. I had never put much thought into what the hammer would look like in such a situation, so I'm glad that someone's done the thinking in my stead. The torch lighting is a nice touch as well. Next on the roster, Lycanfish. I like this one because of just how cozy it looks. The lines and colors also work really well here. But the thing that brings it all together for me is the fact that the hammer is smoking my favorite cigar brand. And that gives it extra points. Penultimately, Sandrock. This one I like for two reasons. Here's number one, and here's number two. While I am partial to the one without a face, for thematic reasons, I really enjoyed one of the first sketches sent to me, where the hammer looked like a Spitfire with shark mouth decals, so I just had to have it both ways. And last but not least, Smutty. Oh. Most impressive about this piece for me isn't anything on the picture so much as how quickly it came together. In retrospect, I wish I had given Smutty more time to polish this one off, but I am nonetheless content with it. I made it out to be a rush order, though I ended up delaying this video for some time as I fleshed out the presentation a bit better in my head. As far as memes go, commissioning lewds of a hammer has got to be up there on the list of things I'm going to hell for, And I'm glad somebody's going down with me. Don't fight it, Smutty. It's too late for us. You're coming with me. It's too late. Anyway, turning away from things that my friends and family are going to judge me harshly for, let's talk briefly about Mech Merc Company. I'll be leaving a link to their Kickstarter page in the description, as that did go live on August the 1st. They've still got over 20 days to put together $20,000 US, roughly, though they are just over a tenth of the way there. So far, folk I know who have given it a try are speaking rather highly of it, and how it feels like an old MechWarrior title. That said, some believe it to bear too close a resemblance to said older MechWarrior titles. I imagine, however, that those sorts of things will get sorted out before launch, though the lead developer is confident that he is not breaking any copyrights with their current art assets. That gripe aside, I think the project is still worth looking into. Access to the free demo on Steam is also in the description, and should the Kickstarter fail, which is offering Steam keys to the game's pre-alpha upon successful funding, the lead developer has also mentioned that he is looking into Indie Fund as a potential plan B, and has thrown out the possibility of a Patreon that could keep the pre-alpha development afloat until they can go fully early access. And because I can't seem to learn my lesson, I've thrown some money their way in the hopes that this might be the vanguard of a mech game renaissance here in the West. I'll be releasing some gameplay footage before too long, so that you lot can get a clear picture of what we'll be in for. Another point I would like to touch upon is the strangeness that has been the Tiberian Sun Unit Preservation Challenge. I've done some further experimenting with the game behind the scenes, and it turns out that my CNCnet copy of the game was bugged to all hell, as I had suspected. This would go a long way to explaining why the AI was behaving so strangely throughout the campaign, with specific regards to its inability to send attack waves at my base. What finally clued me in that something was amiss was the fact that I was able to complete the final mission of the GDI campaign in under an hour. While I'm not as crap at the game as I used to be when I was younger, I don't think I am that good at it. Some of the issue also likely came down to the fact that the hard difficulty has some different spawning quirks for enemy units, given that they do more damage and they have way more health. That still does not account for the lack of cyborg groups being sent to harass my starting base in that last mission. Anyway, the problem seems to have been fixed by reinstalling my Origin version of the game, so we'll see how I fare in the Nod campaign on the hard difficulty. Likewise, I may revisit the GDI campaign in order to do a proper attempt at the Unit Preservation Challenge. For now, I'll leave that on the back burner while I focus on the Nod missions. Furthermore, in regards to the other games in the franchise seeing a similar unit preservation treatment, it will vary. Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert are games I never got familiar with due to their incompatibility with Windows XP, so I'll play them casually at best. Red Alert 2 doesn't actually keep track of how many units you lost in the mission end screen, so it too will be casually played. Tiberium Wars and Kane's Wrath, on the other hand, do keep track of unit loss statistics, as well as a host of other statistics. So we'll be doing a unit preservation challenge there. And while we're on the subject, isn't it such a pity that no sequels were ever made for Tiberium Wars and Red Alert 2? Damn, it's such a shame that no further games were ever made under the Command & Conquer franchise label. It boggles the mind. Anyway, with all of that said, I'll leave you with a shout out to Fang's recent series on Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, as well as the prior Star Wars Podracer playthrough he did. Both are funny, because both cause him pain. The former more so than the latter. Either way, I had fun watching them so far, and I'm sure you will too. We're also going to be working on a Civilizations 5 head-to-head playthrough, which is going to require some heavy editing work to make it watchable. So look out for that in the future. Blarks, too, is nearly done with his degree, so he should be returning to the channel with a new Kanchier Dwarf Fortress playthrough at some point in the near future. I liked my gang of psycho cave-diving warrior dwarves, by the way, and I want them back, Blorks. You owe this to me. Anyway, without further ado, I'll wrap things up here. Thanks again to the Ladylads and Gentlelads who have been supporting us the whole way through, and, as always, until we meet again, I wish you all a good day.